New footage has come out. Ref not called. This is a foul, okay? This is a foul.
WNBA referees has been having issues. WNBA referees simply playing against Caitlin Clark and the Fever. This is another year and another case of WNBA referees not making the right calls when it comes to Caitlin Clark.
Another game, another shoddy shot, and the referees said nothing.
WNBA referees has been having issues with getting these calls right when it comes to Caitlin Clark and the Fever.
A Storm player obviously attacked Caitlin Clark in front of the official.
One of the worst missed calls I think I've ever seen in basketball.
And then when the refs don't call the bear hug.
And they clearly did nothing wrong. The referees don't call it. There's no whistle, no protection, no accountability, and let's face it, this isn't the first time it has happened, and the league is still acting as though they won't notice it before we move forward. If you think Caitlin Clark deserves it, you had better leave a 100% positive comment right now.
Obviously being fouled. The refs don't call it.
We're discussing the pattern, the quiet, and the reasons the WNBA continues to tolerate it rather than simply one foul.
Caitlin Clark is the needle. Caitlin is boxed off.
Caitlin Clark is the star. Everything else is wrapped around her, and everything else is revolving around her.
She's Rookie of the Year in the WNBA.
Caitlin Clark is the star player of the WNBA.
The most popular woman ever in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark.
What we witnessed in Seattle wasn't an isolated incident. The latest in a troubling pattern is Caitlin Clark being hacked without a single whistle.
It is a mad situation just all around when it comes to Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark has suffered yet another hard foul, and the referees failed to make a call.
The WNBA is physical, and she just needs to get over it.
Let's go back in time to this game and several more this season. Clark has been the object of violent, physical play.
And we have another situation where WNBA referees failed to make the right calls against Caitlin Clark and the Fever.
And the referees have continuously ignored it.
Why is that? New year, Caitlin Clark still getting assaulted though, bruh. Why is we back here?
These officials, for whatever reason, made it their mission to avoid calling everything from defenders making clear contact in the paint to elbows or severe body checks.
For whatever reason, these referees made it their business to simply not make the calls.
In one widely shared video from the Seattle game, the officials either overlooked it or failed to see it. The referee was only a few steps away when Clark was obviously fouled during a drive, but no call was made.
Let's watch the play here.
To reset things.
As you can see, she dribbles over to the wing, pushes off a little bit, and hits that three. Now, if you slow things down and if you actually go frame by frame, you can see that Pow Pow had two hands on Caitlin. It wasn't just a one-hand hand check. She was kind of grabbing her with two hands.
In the meantime, players who hardly touch the opponent, like Sophie Cunningham, get called for touch fouls.
The referee's literally right there. Like, bro, you're right there.
Fans are now doing the league's job on TikTok and X, posting side-by-side breakdowns of missed calls against Clark, revealing how one player is hit without protection while others are babied. But that's not just inconsistent officiating. That's bias, period. This is a systemic issue rather than a single referee or game. Even Stephanie White, the coach of the Fever, has openly stated her displeasure that her players aren't receiving fair treatment, particularly Clark, who endures constant pressure that officials don't discipline.
A foul on Sophie Cunningham for doing absolutely nothing. Dantas, just her hands in the air. Another foul, touch foul, touch foul, touch foul.
And where is the WNBA in all of this? The league commissioner, Kathy Angelbert, has not yet addressed the matter. Not a single tweet or news conference.
It is a mad situation just all around when it comes to Caitlin Clark, because it's very clear that she is way stronger.
Caitlin has always been an underrated athlete. She's the fastest player in the league to me with the ball in her hands, and she was the best guard finishing around the rim last year. She shot a bunch of it, and it's been the whole preseason where it looks to me like on her deepest shots, she is just getting them off like they're nothing, like they're routine. Because nobody else is shooting from this distance regularly, and she's doing it with a flick of the wrist. How easily it looks like she's shooting those threes and hitting those threes in the clip that she's doing it. You know, going to the rack, all these various things that show she's even stronger than she was a year ago. And you see it in the strong numbers. I mean, 13 points, 6 boards, 7 assists in 23 minutes of action.
Let's not mince words. Players like Sophie Cunningham have taken matters into their own hands and stepped in to defend Caitlin because if the referees won't, someone has to. This is about the WNBA sending a message, and at the moment that message is we'll take everything from Caitlin Clark, but we won't stand with her when it counts. The WNBA wants Caitlin's media power, her sold-out arenas, her viral clips, and her TV ratings, but when it comes to standing up for her, they disappear.
Kathy has said nothing. She just refused to address this referee problem.
Firstly, let's discuss the game that caused this outcry. Final score between the Indiana Fever and the Seattle Storm the game's play, and, more crucially, the refereeing from the first quarter tell the tale, not the scoreline. The Fever won. Caitlin Clark faced criticism. In one early sequence, she was hounded off the ball, grabbed on screens, shoved on drives, and no referee intervened. She was also obviously fouled during a layup attempt when the defender's arm struck her midriff, and the referee watched the play.
No doubt, the Indiana Fever are dominating the WNBA rating.
There is still no justice, no call, and no whistle. Sophie Cunningham, on the other hand, was called for a foul on the very next possession without even touching anyone. Her hands up, feet planting defense was textbook. Blows a foul whistle when the league overlooks intentional targeting. It sends a message to all defenders that you can get away with it, which is exactly what Seattle did. However, Caitlin Clark reminds everyone why she is unique even though she takes hits. If you're a fan watching that live, you're asking the same question we are. What are we even doing here? This double standard is dangerous because it's not just about being rough or playing physical.
Caitlin
Clark has suffered yet another hard foul, and the referees failed to make a call.
This was not one of her better scoring nights, yet she led statistically despite the non-calls and being taunted and disregarded. Let's call it what it was, 38 turnovers at 6.0 for 6.
Caitlin Clark is definitely still in a shooting slump. She attempted 6 3-pointers, made none of them. She went 3 for 13 all night.
By conventional measures, that would be a difficult night for any player, but take a closer look since Caitlin Clark's worth extends beyond the box score.
This is the first time in her career Caitlin Clark recorded more turnovers than points, bro. She had more turnovers than points for the first time in her whole basketball career.
She still recorded 3 steals, 2 rebounds, and 9 assists.
Her impact on the court was still extremely high.
More significantly, she directed the attack, established spacing, and made it easier for the ball to go.
She did also have 9 assists, 3 steals, and 2 rebounds.
That directly contributed to the Fever's 94-86 victory. She did this by dragging defenders, controlling the floor, and maintaining her cool when others would have lost it. Even former Indiana star Erica Wheeler was spotted checking on her following hard contact.
She was pulling gravity, getting a lot of her teammates open, getting them assists.
Because even they acknowledge the respect she is receiving, which the referees obviously do not give her. And then there is Aliyah Boston, who set a career high.
Lexie Hull recorded her first double-double of her entire career.
8 rebounds and 31 points.
Aliyah Boston put on a masterclass, hitting a career-high 31 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and she shot 72%.
Taking advantage of the rhythm and space that Clark created, even when her shots weren't falling.
She had 31 points, 8 rebounds, shooting 72% from the field.
Kelsey Mitchell, who scored 26 points, is comparable.
Indiana Fever fans, they feel what's going on. They are so invested in this team. And I don't think a lot of people thought that the Fever could pull it off.
And Lexie Hull, who achieved her first double-double in her career. Without Caitlin Clark managing the floor, none of this would have occurred. She didn't score, but she improved, and she received the W despite not receiving any calls.
If it wasn't for Aliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell, this could have been the 3rd straight loss.
Although the referees blew their whistles and the league turned a blind eye as Caitlin Clark was being bounced around like she was invisible, she stood tall, managed the game, and won. This is the part that the silent officials and critics don't understand. Caitlyn's impact isn't just in her highlight passes or logo threes. It's in how she carries the pressure, endures the targeting, and continues to improve her team even when the system refuses to support her.
8 of them being Caitlin Clark's, which normally, isn't a big deal, but she did have more turnovers than points.
Let's be brutally truthful. The WNBA is currently experiencing success because of Caitlin Clark, not because of her. Prior to her joining the league, games with an average of 300,000 viewers were regarded as a success. Now, we're talking about prime time levels because of one player. Just look at the data. Indiana records are being broken by Fever Games' .1 meeting was the 3rd most watched regular season game in WNBA history, with a peak attendance of 2.2 million live viewers and an average of 1.7 million.
Caitlin Clark effect seems to be crazier than year one.
I love watching her score and just everything about her.
They went the extra mile just to watch her play here.
This is great news for women's basketball, period.
Caitlin Clark is the GOAT.
She signed my jersey. So happy, I'm crying. I'm so happy. This is the best day ever.
ABC's WNBA viewership is up an astounding 76%, while ESPN's coverage is up 14%.
And it averaged 1.7 million views. It peaked at 2.2 million views.
And Caitlin Clark is playing in almost every highly regarded broadcast this season.
WNBA on ESPN regular season averaged 33% more than last year, and it was up 2,025 NBA coverage across ESPN of 14% from last year. A victory, bro. ESPN made a bag on this one.
You believe that number to be a coincidence, but it's actually the Caitlin Clark effect.
Now, this ain't because they played the Las Vegas Aces. No, this is because Caitlin Clark was expected to ball out.
She is now the show and the plot, even acknowledged by ESPN and other major sports media agencies.
Caitlin and them still doing big viewership numbers, still doing big-time votes when it comes to all-star games, still making their presence felt.
She is the reason why people are returning, and it's not just hype. Economics is driving up ticket costs everywhere the craze is. The league will sell her jersey, post her highlights, and use her image to draw in new sponsors and national media attention. But when she is singled out on the court and is being shoved, slapped, and elbowed by officials who are ignoring clear fouls, there is no word from WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert and no disciplinary action for dirty plays.
I don't care about the score. I'm watching because it's the FOMO that everyone is rushed to watch.
Not a single statement sent out to the entire league saying, "You don't touch our stars like that." In Caitlin's case, the league is taking everything she brings in terms of attention, revenue, and cultural buzz, but giving her nothing in return. No respect, safety, or even fairness. While some players, like Sophie Cunningham, are being praised for defending her, let's be honest, many others are jealous, dismissive, or openly hostile, throwing cheap shots because they know the referees won't stop them. The NBA would allow this to happen to Steph Curry, and the NFL would allow Patrick Mahomes to be hit late without warning. Of course, this isn't because leagues protect their stars. One host did a fantastic job. By simply standing next to Sophie Cunningham, Caitlin Clark elevated her to stardom.
Kathy has said nothing. She just refused to address this referee problem.
She didn't say that to disparage Sophie. Rather, she said it because it's true that Caitlin Clark is leading the league in popularity and that she is the only one rising alone. This is hypocritical. They want her to be the center of attention, so they'll take it, but they won't share the burden of shielding her from targeted violence on the court. Instead, they expect her to bear the brunt of all the pressure, criticism, dirty plays, marketing load, and viewership boost, and yet she manages to lead her team to victories. Even when she only scores 6 points, her threes aren't falling. She fouls 10 times without being called. She shows up, improves her teammates, and advances the league.
That's nice.
And she was shooting the shit out of it.
Of course she was.
Right, so she was shooting the shit out of it. And
she's the face of the league.
Agreed.
She's the face of the league. Agreed.
Just have nothing but great things to say about who she is as a person. Just so welcoming and so warm as an individual that she can have a conversation with anybody. She's cut from the same cloth as me in that regard. You know what? Us Midwesterners, we tend to just, accept everybody with open arms. She was so kind to my family and everyone in the suite when she came to KC. So huge fans of Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark is the needle mover
mover. She is the needle mover.
She is the franchise player.
And she was the MVP.
She is the main draw.
She wasn't the one who was full sprinting down the court.
Caitlin Clark is a rising star in women's basketball. She's pulling in crazy viewership numbers.
She's my role model. I really look up to her.
Why do you like Caitlin?
She's so good at basketball.
Because she's that awesome person and she has like a lot of aura, so like.
However, how long can a 22-year-old rookie continue to carry a billion-dollar brand while losing game after game and receiving nothing but quiet from the authorities? That is not only unsustainable, but it is also unfair and unacceptable. The WNBA's future and present is with Caitlin Clark, who has already given them all they could possibly want. Now it's time for the league, the coaches, the referees, and the leadership to step up and start by raising the whistle.
It's the third most watched WNBA regular season game ever on ESPN.
There's something significant going on in Indiana that goes beyond the stat sheets. In the Seattle game, Caitlin Clark only managed 6 points, had 8 turnovers, and said the shots just wouldn't fall. But guess what? She still made a difference by pulling defenders, drawing double teams, and creating space for her teammates to thrive in. Her 9 assists, 3 steals, and constant movement created the opportunity for the best team performance we've seen all season, and you witnessed Aliyah Boston go off for 31 points.
2.2 million views, man. Peaked at, average 1.7 million viewership. Ain't no team in the W still doing this, bro. Nobody's doing the numbers the Fever is doing.
You witnessed points dominating the paint like a budding superstar. Kelsey Mitchell scored 26 points to get back to her best.
The Indiana Fever just won a major game. Aliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell were literally spectacular.
Even when it's quiet, Clark was facilitating commanding reading of the floor like a veteran. Even Erica Wheeler, who now plays for Seattle, was seen checking in on Clark after a difficult fall, which speaks volumes about the impact she has even on opponents, and let's not overlook the intangible. For rebounds, for assists, full control, and for the first time in her career, Lexie Hull dropped a double-double. That's not random, that's what leadership looks like. Not only did Caitlin help the Fever win the game, but she also gave them hope for the first time in weeks. The team appeared assured even when Clark wasn't playing, which is a breakthrough because of her contagious leadership and high standards. Sure, she's in a shooting slump, but if this is Caitlin Clark on a bad night leading an underdog team to a statement win, just think of what would happen when those shots start falling again. She transformed everything, even in her most subdued game.
Then Kelsey Pistol Mitchell was cooking. Kelsey Pistol Mitchell was cooking with fish grease. 8 of 14, 26 points. She shot 5 of 7 from 3, 5 of 5 from the free throw line.
Kelsey Mitchell does. She brings it up the court, stops on a dime, shoots this 3-point jump shot.
Let's call it what it is. Caitlin Clark is being targeted. The referees are remaining silent, and the league is allowing it to continue game after game. She takes the hits, absorbs the cheap fouls, the hostile energy, and the pressure of carrying an entire league on her shoulders without the basic protection every elite player deserves, and yet she shows up, leads, and changes the game. She's not just playing basketball, she's changing the culture, filling arenas, and raising ratings, making the WNBA the talk of sports right now. But if the league is serious about growing, they must do more than just make money off of Caitlin Clark.
She's the GOAT. She's going to show why the world is wanting to watch her play.
We witnessed the foul, the officials remaining silent, and the league doing nothing since the fans watch everything, but we also witnessed Caitlin stand tall, keep fighting, and encourage everyone around her because she deserves better, and we won't stop saying it until she receives it 100%. If you concur, leave a comment below to let them know that Caitlin has our support.